Hey, oh my god, I can't believe I got the Surviving Monkeys to do our theme song. Whew. Basically, it's just Mike Nesmith and Mickey Dolenz. Wow, that's an amazing theme song. And I love how Neil Diamond kind of comes in the end. So the trio right now is a power trio. Oh, hey everyone. So we are back. This is, if I get the name correct, Invite Me In.
There you go.
Awesome sauce. Yeah, we're talking about Buffy. The simple thing is we got two super fans. One person's just seen it the very first time, and one dude, myself, who's never seen it ever again, or ever before, or ever, period. And without further ado, I'm going to say Xander, our super fan, say hello.
Hello.
Jess, our other super fan, say hello.
What's up?
Travis, the guy who's seen it only once before, say hi.
Heyo.
And myself, Jim Phoenix, who has no idea what the hell's going on a good day, and especially now. So, episode 5, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 1 is called what?
Never Kill a Boy on the First Date.
Right, but what's the episode called?
Never Kill a Boy on the First Date.
That was dating advice. Okay, so that's interesting. What's the cold open?
The cold open starts off in a graveyard. There's some fighting going on. Buffy stakes the vampire. She gets off some quippy whips, and Giles critiques her fighting style. But then he looks down and he sees a ring on the ground, and Buffy is like, cool, guy, I've been out here doing all the hard work, and you're just telling me everything I'm doing wrong. But they're looking at the ring. They think it has some sort of significance. And then we cut down to the Master, and because Luke is dead, he has to do his own monologuing now.
Wait, Luke's dead?
Yeah, he died in episode 2.
Huh. Well, we don't hear about him ever again.
No, we don't.
School kid?
No,
he was a vampire, not the school
No,
kid.
Jesse was the school kid turning a vampire. Luke was the one that fought Buffy on the stage, and then she fooled him with the streetlight, which I discussed why I wasn't a fan of.
Yeah.
Okay, so Luke's the bad guy. He's dead. Okay, got it.
He's
He
dead.
was basically, though, the Master's number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2.
But yeah, so he's reading about the Anointed One, aka the Great Warrior. The Slayer won't know him when he sees him, won't be able to stop him. He'll lead the Slayer to hell. 5 will die, and from the ashes, the Anointed will rise. And this is all important. It's going to come back to the main plot of the episode later. So
Watching this, I realize it's gotta suck being down there with that guy. Like, he's just down there monologuing, and the place does not look like a good place to be.
I don't understand, like, their devotion to him, because he's literally stuck down there.
Yeah.
Why are they letting themselves be bullied by him?
Yeah, they're like, no, bitch, you listen to me.
It's like, sir, should we go out? And he's like, you shall go out when the night is darkest and the blackness falls through the void. And it's like, can you just say okay?
No, we just asked if you want ice cream, bro. They just give me a
Like
flavor.
a chocolate of the deepest, darkest flavor.
They can like tease him, like, hey guys, you all want to go out tonight? He's like walk through the little invisible portal, and he's like, no.
No, they step through it. Oh, they step back in. They just step back in and out. You're like, oh.
And they're like eating the ice cream. Hey man, you want a bite? Come get it.
It's like it's just a State Farm commercial. Oh, you almost had it. Almost got you $1.
I love those dollars. So it's the Master openings up after the ring killing, snickety snicks.
Yeah. So we had our nice Monster of the Week last week, and now we're back to the Master this week.
Huh.
So it's we're thinking about the Anointed One is what we're worried about this week.
That
So then we
sounds
get howling, guitars, cheerleading, blah blah blah, all the fun stuff from the credits that we did not skip.
Never again.
Spoiler. I did some background research. It's Xander playing the guitar on that. Yeah, it's actually Xander on guitar for the.
Oh, did you look that up?
Yeah. I looked it up.
Are you being real?
It's the actor. Well, it's not actually Xander. It's the actor who plays Xander. Does the guitar.
Nicholas Brendan.
You're talking about the guitar for the theme song?
Yeah. The guitar for the theme song.
He plays that?
Yeah.
Whoa. Good
Hold
for him.
on.
Man.
Never believe anything I say. I don't know this episode at all. Come on, guys.
We're talking about the theme
Nerf
song.
Herder. It's Nerf Herder is the theme song.
Who?
Nerf Herder.
Is that a band?
That's the name of the band.
Yeah.
Nerf Herder?
Nerf Herder.
Star Wars.
That sounds like somebody that can't really speak full English and they're like learning Nerf Herder.
They're described as geek rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the non-Xander guitar solo, fine. It opens the show. Then how does it go from there?
So we start off in the library. They're trying to look at the markings on the ring, figure out what they mean. Giles is searching ancient runes. They find something about the Order of Aurelius. So that's the lead they're following. And then a guy comes into the library and everybody's shocked because
Yeah.
I know this is a sticking point that Travis and Jim had before. They're like, does nobody ever come into the library?
Yes.
Here's one of those
there you go.
episodes where somebody comes into the library and they're like, what are you doing here? And he's like,
I need a book.
I need a book.
I like that they actually address it. When Charles like, why are you here? It's like, this is a student actually using the library.
Yeah, except he's so fucking pretentious. Like he's like, I lost my Emily, and they're like, what? He's like, Dickinson.
Oh, this guy?
Yeah. And then Buffy's like, oh yeah, I love her. And he's like, oh, I didn't think you could read. And she's like, you're so dreamy.
This guy is so weird. I don't get him, and
I liked him.
He's so
I
weird,
like
man.
Owen.
Like, I don't understand what he wants or what he's trying to do.
Honestly, if he would have if he would replace Xander, I would have been okay. Like I really enjoyed Owen.
His character does a complete 180 in this episode. Like, he starts out and like right here being like this nice and like thoughtful guy, and I don't know. He's like, I don't think he's really trying to do anything.
I think he's very much a 16-year-old boy. Like, he's trying to find himself. Like any 16-year-old trying to find themselves. And I get that. Yeah.
This dude's like 7 feet tall.
I went to high school with a guy that graduated a year ahead of me that legit was 7 foot tall.
Well, I mean, that's like a lot of basketball players are like that. But
he now coaches high school football.
Mm-hmm.
His dad was my gym teacher.
My point still stands. This guy, his character was just, it was weird for me. I don't really like his character arc in this. I'm kind of surprised he didn't become like a recurring character after, how things unfold in this episode. But, I'm okay with him being a one and done guy.
I will agree to disagree with that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he comes in and they flirt, and it's a whole thing. Buffy is a little bit awkward about it. She is very much like missing her social life pre-Slayer, and Giles is very much trying to get her to be focused this episode. So it's this whole their dynamic early on is her wanting to have a social life and him trying to forbid it.
His point to her is it's very dangerous to let other people know your identity as a Slayer, which already has happened. They've got 2 people that are just normal people that are like sidekicks now. So that didn't really make that much of an impact, I guess. Like, I don't understand his argument here.
Oh, and we'll get into that. There's themes of that throughout the whole series about why Buffy is successful as a Slayer, and it'll be easier to go into once you have some more background information.
Okay.
So the lore of the Slayer, the legacy of the Slayer is it's supposed to be a solitary thing, her and her Watcher, and her main thing is, hunting monsters. Hunting monsters.
Haunting monsters.
Haunting
Either
monsters.
way, it kind of works.
Yeah.
Just hanging out on Rob Zombie set.
I wish we could do that. So, do you think there's some kind of... How old is Buffy supposed to be again?
Buffy's 15 at the beginning. She turned 16 this season, I think.
I did not realize they were that young. I thought they were way older.
Yeah, they're sophomores.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar was actually 19 at the time, so...
Okay.
They always play so much older.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering if... Would you reasonably expect a 15-year-old to give up their entire social... I guess COVID just did this, but hey, 15-year-olds who had their entire childhood kind of taken because of COVID. Tell us how it went. But do you expect kind of like their social circles to go away? Because that's one of the things, socialization is really important.
That is what the Watchers expect, yes.
Well, that's kind of douchey.
Yeah.
Again, when we talk more about the Watchers later in the series, I've got a lot of opinions.
Are they all old virgins? Because Xander could be the next one.
Mostly.
Oh, I hope I didn't spoil it. Did I spoil anything by mistake?
No,
okay.
no,
you're good.
Okay. Like, my God.
But yeah, so we cut to the cafeteria, and like Buffy is just talking about Owen, and then Xander's like, "Hey, Buffy, how'd the slaying go last night?" And she's like, "Xander, we're in the middle of the cafeteria." He goes, "I mean, how'd the laying go last night?" And she was like, "That's not any better."
Hey.
Right.
But yeah, they see Owen is sitting by himself, and Buffy's like, "I'm gonna go sit with him." But Cordelia also decides that she's gonna go sit with him, except Buffy bumps into her, and she's like, "Oh, Cordelia's such a klutz." And then Cordelia's like, "Hey, Owen, a bunch of us are going to the Bronze." And then Owen's like, "Hey, Buffy, do you want to go to the Bronze with me?" Which I just think it's funny how he is compcompletely unfazed by Cordelia, and she's so frustrated the whole time.
"Hi, Owen. Not now, Cordelia. I'm with Buffy."
And she's like, "Oh, a bunch of us are going to the Bronze tonight." He's like, "Oh yeah, who's going?" And she's like, "Well, I'm going to be there." And he's like, "Okay, who else? Buffy, are you going?" Yeah,
but that's a theme of the setups for the love stories. You know, Xander and Willow, Xander and Buffy, Owen and Cordelia. It's the whole spiel so far, right? The unrequited love.
Yeah, kind of. This really isn't about unrequited love. This little arc, it's more about Buffy wanting like that balance that she has to have between social life versus her Slayer duties.
Yeah,
is really the core of this episode.
Good Lord.
But yeah, they have this date planned for tonight, and she's really excited until she sees Giles, and he's like, "I've done some studying on the Order of Aurelius, and tonight is the night for sure that the Anointed One is coming, so we have to be in the graveyard." And she's like, "No, I have a date." And he's like, "Too bad, you have to find the Anointed One." So we see them sitting in the graveyard, absolutely nothing happening.
That's my favorite shot of this entire episode. They're just like chilling like on top of a grave, and it's just like silence. I loved it. It was great.
He's like, "I could have sworn my calculations are correct."
Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin. Yep. Damn it, Linus.
Basically. So by the time she gets to the Bronze, like she sees Owen dancing with Cordelia, and she's like, "Aw," and she leaves. And meanwhile, we see a bus. Later they refer to it as a van, but it's definitely a bus.
They called it a van later?
Yeah.
It's definitely a bus.
Yeah, the newspaper article was like, there was a van crash. I'm like, this is a fucking bus.
That's a Greyhound, damn it.
Yeah, and there's this guy that's like, you know, if you've ridden on a bus before, there's always that one guy, and this one guy in this instance is going up and down the aisles, spouting off some like pseudo-religious stuff, and he is fairly threatening, and everybody's like annoyed, but they're also like, this isn't our first time on the bus. Like,
yeah, no, I've ridden a bus from Ohio to Texas. I've seen those people.
Oh, so you probably also got like the religious bit too.
Uh-huh. I was stuck in a Greyhound for about 26 hours.
Ugh. Yeah. I'll say bus or dog is not a good experience. 26 hours.
I do not recommend Greyhounds.
Mm-mm. But yeah, so the bus driver is just trying to do his thing. A vampire appears on the road, so the bus crashes, and the vampire boards and presumably massacres everybody.
Bites the guy though. That's preaching.
Bites
people.
the preacher guy.
Yeah, so spares him.
Wow.
Yeah. So the next day, we cut to the hall, and Buffy and Xander are talking about what happened at the Bronze. Buffy's all insecure about being single, but then Owen shows up, and he's like, "Hey, Buffy, where were you last night?" And she was like, my watch broke, and we don't believe in clocks in my house, so I didn't realize what time it was," which I thought was just like, that's like kind of a funny little way to be like, I can't tell you what happened, but here's my sense of humor. I hope you enjoy it. So he's like, "I'm going to give you a watch." Like, you know, she's got her angel jacket and her angel cross necklace, and now she's got an Owen watch.
Meanwhile, Xander has his Tweety Bird watch.
Yeah. And she doesn't even have the bracelet Xander gave her in Witch.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Oh my god, that's cool, man.
So he's like, let's meet tonight at 7, and Buffy goes in the library, and she's like, so nothing's happening tonight, right? Okay, cool, I got a date, bye. And it cuts to the master monologuing some more. I feel like we need to talk about the monologuing. It's there's like something like traditional vampire-ness about like how ceremonial he is with everything. So I feel like we need to talk about him monologuing. It's there.
It's just what they do.
Yeah. Also, Jim, I feel like because you haven't seen the show, so you don't have the visual, but he's got what people refer to as fruit punch mouth because his mouth is just like stained red. Like he doesn't look. All the rest of the vampires mostly look human, except for when they're in vamp face, and they get like bumpy foreheads and teeth. But he is like permanent. Like he looks like a bat. Kind of, almost. Like it's a whole Voldemort type thing.
Yeah, he kind of looks like that.
Yeah, and he's got like permanent like red around his mouth, presumably because he's just been drinking so much blood.
Yeah,
that's insane. I'm glad you brought up fruit punch mouth because I remember as a kid, like you ever see those little kids that have that, and they didn't have fruit punch in ages.
Yeah, no, we've got a bunch of nieces and nephews, and they always have like something red and sticky around their mouths. Maybe children are vampires.
No shit.
Well, they do drain the energy a lot, so live.
But yeah, so they're just reminding us that even though Buffy's trying to go on a date, we've got this whole sinister thing happening. In Buffy's room, Xander and Willow are helping her pick out an outfit, and Xander's just being the fucking worst still. And he's like, you should probably cover up completely. Only wear red lipstick if you want to be a whore. And then when she's trying to change, he's like peeking at her in the mirror. Like, Xander sucks.
Yeah.
I cannot stand season 1 Xander.
Oh,
does he get better after this season with this stuff?
He still is problematic, but he is less obviously problematic. Like, he's more tolerable. Okay. His good qualities come out later. I'll put it that way. Like, he gets better qualities to balance out the shittiness.
Okay.
Plays guitar better.
And skates better.
There you go.
Never does any of those things ever again. The guitar thing was, similar to the skateboard thing.
I wish during this scene, though, whenever he's, like, peeking from the mirror, like a little... Yeah.
So you have this set up where Xander's being a perv?
Yeah. And Buffy's getting ready to leave. She hears the doorbell, and she assumes it's Owen, but it's actually Giles. And Giles is like, there was a van crash. It's a bus. And 5 died, and that's what the prophecy says, is that from the ashes of 5, 1 will rise, and so we need to go. And she's like, nope, I've got a date. You were wrong last night. If the apocalypse comes, eat me. Which is just such an iconic line. We have to mention it.
I thought you said eat me for a second.
Me.
Yeah.
Owen does show up at this point and sees the librarian in Buffy's house, and she was like, overdue book. And he's like, wow, you take this very serious.
Yeah, he's not.
He just believes it.
It's like stranger danger, Buffy. Stranger danger.
Yeah, like I kind of like Owen because does come across as genuinely trying to be a nice guy without like any real agenda. A little doofy, but he's not
That's
an
what I mean.
idiot.
Like, he's a kid, like, the way people try and figure themselves out when they're kids.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with him right here. He's being a normal dude. I'm talking about, like, later on in the episode, how he just changes. Like,
well, he had a transformative experience,
I guess,
coming up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So while Buffy and Owen go on their date, Giles is like, I'm going to go to the funeral home. And then Willow and Xander are like, we've seen you get knocked out 3 times, and it's only episode 5, so we're going to come with you too.
Yeah, fair point.
At the Bronze, Owen is, again, just being pretentious. Like, he's just going on and on and on about Emily Dickinson. And I'm like, are you sure you don't want to date Emily Dickinson, bro? Like,
is she available?
I mean, given what we've seen so far, I mean, necromancy wouldn't be too far out of the picture.
That's true.
Yeah.
They go to dance, and Owen's like, I can't figure you out. It's like 1 minute you're here, and the next minute you're somewhere else, and
you're someone else.
Someone else.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, I'm a human being. That's how human beings are.
Yeah.
Cordelia comes in with her fabulously crimped hair because it's 1997. And she tries to interrupt the dancing, but Owen just he's so obliviously shooting her down. He's not even being harsh about it. It doesn't even cross his mind that Cordelia is interested. He was very I'm so sorry. Perhaps the next time I'm with Buffy right now. He was kind of almost, he reminded me of Willow a little bit. He was giving her shade without even realizing it. Yeah.
Wouldn't they be perfect together? Owen and Willow?
I wouldn't hate it.
I don't think so. I don't see it.
Why?
I think they're too, they have similar characteristics, but they kind of fall into different interests and stuff. So I feel like they wouldn't have much to connect on.
But so far, based off of what we've seen, I think that they have a lot in common.
I don't think Willow's so much into the Dead Poets Society thing.
She's into the Xander type apparently.
He can play guitar and skateboard only once.
And be an incredible pervert.
Yep.
Only once?
No, he can do that one a lot. That's his special talent.
Okay. Well, we got a special talent.
We see at the funeral home, Giles immediately gets attacked by some vampires. He manages to hide in one room, he's got it blocked off, and Willow and Xander are peeking in through the window. They're like, "Hey, bud, you need some help?" And he's like, "Yes, please. She's got her beepy thing." Mm-hmm. I'm like, Giles, you are a grown-ass man. You are smart. You have all of this supernatural stuff memorized. You can't remember the word beeper.
Dude, it's technology past his time. Like you said, he's old. This is in the 90s. It's foreign to him.
He's not even old. I think he's in his 30s.
He is not in his 30s.
Wow,
dude is he's mid-age.
I don't think so.
He's graying.
Some people gray early.
He's more than just now beginning to gray. He's
and I'm not talking about Tony Head. I'm talking about Giles' character specifically.
Oh, I'm just.
I always interpreted it as him being in his 30s. I don't know why. That's just in my heart.
That's me.
Anyway, so Willow and Xander go to the Bronze to try and get Buffy, and the date is going okay, except Angel shows up to warn Buffy about the Anointed One. And then when Owen comes up and he's like, who's this? And Angel's like, I know her from work. And then Will and Xander show up and they pretend that it's a double date. And Owen's just like, this is all weird, but okay.
So I have a question about Angel. Why does he never help? But he knows everything that's going down.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that yet.
Oh, okay.
I had the same question too. I'm
that's episode 7.
Yeah,
we'll get more Angel backstory starting in episode 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's literally called Angel, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I had the same damn thing. He just seems to drop some knowledge, give us t-shirt, give a necklace, Wait, so she's wearing much of Angel's gifts?
I don't think she is right now. I don't think she's wearing the jacket right now.
Nah.
But she has a jacket, the necklace, and the ring?
The cross necklace she has because it's, vampire repellent.
I won't ask any spoiler type questions, but I have a theory about Angel.
I'm curious what your theory is. We won't tell you one way or the other.
Okay, won't tell me the other way.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do it?
That's not a theory. That's asking a question.
Oh. My theory is they're gonna do it. That's my theory.
Right.
I have a theory. Are they gonna do it?
No, you're thinking of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's a whole different show.
Hey, I've seen that too. I think Burning Angel does that one. I actually do think Burning Angel does that one, but my luck.
Anyway,
it just seems creepy otherwise.
Back to the fictional double date, Willow and Xander are like, hey, how about we go hang out at the funeral home? And Owen's like, yeah, actually, that sounds really good because the dude's into Emily Dickinson. So, of course, he wants to go to a date at a funeral home.
Right.
Is there an actual connection there? I don't know the material.
She's very morbid.
Okay.
Yeah. Buffy is like, no, how about you stay here and I'll go check something out real quick. And then she kisses him. Makes a point of kissing him.
It leaves him with Angel.
Yep.
So they're just like, so.
Yeah, they have their bro moment. At the funeral home, they get in there and they realize that Owen has followed them. So it's like, it's almost, it's very like farcical. Like it makes me think almost like an episode of Frasier or something where like all of these wacky shenanigans are happening and they're having to like try and keep him from seeing her be a slayer and all of this and that, but it's also like very serious because it's literally life or death stakes. And so it's just like this whole thing where like Buffy will go to one room to try and help Giles, and then Owen is in this other room, and Willow and Xander are trying to keep him occupied, and the room they go to has like a single dissection table. It's not
he's
dissection.
On the stretcher still, isn't he? Like he's in a
stretcher.
body bag.
Stretcher. That's the word I'm thinking of. Dissection.
Hey, it's your funeral. I don't know, man.
But he sits up from the stretcher, and Owen's like, this is not normal. And Will and Xander are like, fuck. So they're trying to unbarricade themselves because this is obviously pretty dangerous. Also, this guy, they give him a name. I forget what his name is, but he's just saying random shit. Like at one point, he's like pork and beans.
He's singing, and I think
and then he starts singing.
You need to mention this is the guy from the bus.
Yeah, this is the guy from the bus. That was preaching.
His name was Andrew Borba.
Thank you.
Andrew
welcome.
Borba?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, they had when they saw the newspaper about the bus crash, they noted that he was one of the victims of the bus crash, and he was like a noted felon.
Yeah.
So,
I was like,
he was a murderer.
Yeah, he was. Was he released from prison, or was he about to be sentenced or something? Like
he was suspected.
Okay.
But like, I don't know, you get the vibe from him. He did it.
Oh
Yeah.
Obviously.
So it's this whole thing. Willow, Xander, and Owen get out of the room, but Owen comes back they get out of the funeral home completely, but Owen comes back for Buffy because he realizes that she's not there and he thinks that she needs protecting.
And then Giles, they ended up, the vampires also trapped Giles before all this because Giles is in there.
Mm-hmm.
They pin him in the room because, we need the damsel.
Yes. And so Buffy's like trying to save him, trying to have Willow and Xander get Owen out safely, trying to defeat this guy, but Owen comes back in and he gets knocked out by Andrew, and Buffy assumes that he's dead, and she's like, you killed my date! And then they manage to get him into an incinerator. They killed him. Yeah, so he's...
Because of course he does.
Yeah.
Every episode.
Well, that's a given.
So far,
That's a given at this point. Well, it would be easier for us to just say if he's not knocked out.
Yeah, we'll just assume, unless we say otherwise, he gets knocked out by the bad guy.
So he's a Jean Grey of Buffy and Vampire Slayer. That was always the cartoon meme where she's falling over strings the entire fucking episode.
Yeah. So Owen wakes up. He's a little dizzy. Willow and Xander said they'll walk him home, and Buffy's like, you're right. Maybe having a social life is not super easy as a Slayer, but at least we took care of the Anointed One, so it's not an issue. The next day...
did it?
Yeah, so the next day, Buffy's asking Will and Xander if Owen said anything on the way home. They're like, well, mostly he was just a little bit, concussion-y. And Owen appears, and he's like, hey, can I see you again? Maybe we can walk down a dark street at 3 a.m. or pick a fight with somebody in a bar. And all he wants is this dangerous lifestyle that she represents to him. Did you want to talk about this some, Travis? I know you have a lot of thoughts about it.
It's just really weird. So I get the after this little moment here, like I'm starting to question: was he ever like truly into her? Because it doesn't seem like he has any like desire to be involved with her romantically at this point. He's just wanting like a companion to go do dangerous shit with.
Well, he seemed into her before he had this like whole dangerous moment. I think he had some sort of an awakening during.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't even think after she rejects him here that he's really like, he doesn't care that he was rejected in like a relationship, since he was just like, oh, I really wanted to just like go do some shit with people. You know, like that's the thing. Like he just completely, it's like a complete 180 of his character. Because at the beginning, he's this sweet and thoughtful guy, and he's like, you know, I don't know. He's just like, he seems reserved, and then now all of a sudden he's like a bad boy, and he's like wanting to like go out and start shit. He's not even interested in Buffy. So I don't know. It was clear to me.
See, I wonder if that's just the writing, or there's some natural character development for him. Maybe because he's a new kid at the school, right? He's a new kid at school.
No, he's been there. I think they established. Yeah.
Wow. I thought it was like the new kid at school trying to like, and Cordelia just suddenly recognizes him now, or just.
No, that was because Buffy was flirting with him. She was like a child that sees another kid playing with a toy that she didn't care about before, but doesn't want the other kid playing with it, you know?
Yeah, I think Travis, you might be right. That might be a big curve for that, and especially one episode like that. You can see that happening like throughout a season arc.
Yeah,
and that's just no show character. You know, it's just character arc becomes an adrenaline junkie or whatnot. But man, one episode that's rough.
Yeah, one day, like
right. It's not even like one episode. It's like not even like the nighttime. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
But we did find we had this nice little moment because Giles comes up after Buffy's like, "Hey, I don't think we should see each other. Like that's not the type of relationship I'm looking for." And you can tell she's a little bit bummed out that this is what it means to be a Slayer. And Giles comes up and he's like, "I was 10 years old when my father told me I was destined to become a Watcher, and I tried to rebel against it." And, you know, they have this like nice little shared moment of like being stuck with their preordained destiny.
Yeah, he like tells her something like it's, you know, it's about filling it out as we go or something.
Yeah. But then we cut to the Master one last time. And of course he's monologuing. And he's welcoming the Anointed One. He's repeating that phrase from the beginning about the Slayer will not see him, will not stop him. And we see it's the tiny child from the bus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bum, bum, bum.
Nice.
I thought it would have, like, at first I didn't realize immediately that it was the kid from the bus. So I was just like, oh, she's like this random kid. Okay.
That would have been me too.
Yeah. So that's a cliffhanger that we end on that will come into play in later episodes.
I would hope so, because that would be really lame if they're like, and this boy, and then it's just like we never see him again.
He's in the closet with the egg sack. One episode, it's like him and everyone else is shoved in the closet.
Yeah, there's just a room where they stuff everything that's never going to get used again.
Damn. Well, that's actually a good cliffhanger, and that's what's going to spark over more of the Master storyline, I'm guessing.
Yes.
So that's kind of cool. That's a good build-up. Now, with that, what would you guys rate this episode?
4.
4. Wow.
I would agree with that.
Oh, 2. Wow. Okay, 2 4s.
Because it furthered along the Master storyline. I honestly wish one of the big things about it is, and I know I seem to be in the minority here, I wish Owen would have been at least a recurring character. Pop up like once or twice a season. It's like, hi, I'm still here reading Emily Dickinson.
Oh my god. So there is something that I need to talk about that we didn't talk about with this. And this episode makes me think of See No Evil 2. Because they're in the funeral home, and there's like this notorious killer, and they're in the room when he comes back to life.
You didn't know there was a sequel to that?
I'm thinking of the movie with Gene Wilder and Richard
Pryor, right? Kane the Wrestler.
No, that's See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Oh.
Fantastic movie.
I was like,
fantastic movie, by the way. That is a funny as hell movie.
Okay, so for those, not that one.
No, for those that didn't, I don't know if you've ever seen that or not. Please go watch it. Like, not going off on a tangent, Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder run a newsstand in an office building, and they witness a murder, except one of them's blind and one of them's deaf.
Right. So combined, they witness the murder.
Yes,
but individually, it's just like...
And it's hilarious.
Yeah, they did a lot of buddy comedies back in the day.
Oh, they were so good.
So it's not that version at all. It's another movie with a similar title of Seeing No Evil.
Okay. It's Kane, the wrestler.
That's right.
With the eyes.
He's a slasher guy. And this one, without the mask for some reason, like that was so iconic for him. I don't understand why they wouldn't give him a mask for a horror movie.
The second one was better though.
Yeah, that's Daniel Harris, so
and Catherine Isabel in it too.
Yeah.
So that's a callback to this episode.
Ginger Snaps.
And American Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like her.
They were both in it. Yeah. No, it's a fantastic. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I think I like See No Evil 2 better than the first one.
I agree.
Nothing against you, Kane. It's just the way we like the writing. That's all it was. Unless he wrote it, I'm sorry.
No, he didn't. He's also now a mayor.
Yeah, the town that my cousin lives in.
Really?
Yeah, he's
fun.
an incredibly smart and well-educated man, actually. People are surprised that you see this guy, it's like hellfire, brr, then he's like
so
very
we can reduce
educated.
Taxes this way. Here's my budget.
No, seriously, like
he's a Republican. So.
But I was like, he owned, I don't know if he still does, but at the time I watched this video, he owned a State Farm insurance company in Tennessee, because that's where he's from. I don't know why. I just sat there and watched this 5-minute video of him just explaining different insurance things, and I'm just like...
Taking notes.
Yeah, like, wasn't in character. He was full-on Glenn Jacobs. He was, this was no weird thing. It was just, I'm like, huh, okay. Oh, with that, okay, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, like, he's... Political affiliation aside, he's very well educated.
Oh, yeah.
He's also the anomaly. Like a successful retired wrestler.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It ain't that pretty at all for most people.
Okay, the movie The Wrestler is pretty spot on in certain spots, trust me.
Yeah. Travis, what would you give this episode?
I'd give it a 3.
Oh, that's pretty damn good, too.
I mean, like I said, I don't like Owen, really. So, whatever. His whole character arc and his whole story, all that aside, I liked all the other stuff, like setting up the leader or whatever. So, it was enough for me to warrant giving it a 3 at least.
I think I'll side with you on like a 3 or 3.5 myself, because I like to set up the leader. I like the sleight of hand of using the kid at the end.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Not only the Slayer didn't see it, the audience didn't see it.
Yeah, the first time watching it, you really don't suspect that. Well, I guess it's been a while for me, but Travis, did you expect that?
No, I mean, I fully expected it to be the guy that was like spouting off all that shit on the bus. And, at the end, just to see that kid looked terrified on that bus whenever that guy was going on his rant. So, I didn't think like that kid was going to be.
No, the reveal was well done.
Yeah, and you have to remember too, because I know it's a little bit, it is weird to think about it being a kid, but you have to remember when a vampire turns you, it's a demon that's possessing a human body.
That's right. Yeah.
So
you basically stop aging at the point that you were bitten.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see how that works. Well, it's a good reveal. It's a good misdirection. I like stuff like that. All right. Any last comments from you guys before we wrap this one up?
Next week. So I'm not looking forward to next week.
Yeah. Yeah, probably my least favorite episode of the season. Maybe of the series is coming up next week.
Wow.
So.
It's up there.
And I can't wait. I can't wait. Travis, any last words?
No, I've spoke my piece.
Great. Well, this is always a blast. And again, on behalf of my guests, Xander, Jess, Travis, and myself, Jim Phoenix, we bid you always invite us in, but bye. Bye, everyone.